The Grand Hall of the Galactic Concordance fell silent as Ambassador Kim Jin-ho walked to the center of the chamber. 300 years of human membership in the greatest alliance in the galaxy was about to end. His steps echoed against the marble floor. Thousands of alien eyes followed him. Jin-ho wore a simple black suit with Earth's blue and green emblem on his chest. His face showed no emotion. Behind him stood Admiral Park Hannah in her crisp military uniform, her hand resting on her ceremonial sword. She had fought for the Concordance in 12 major battles. Now she was here to take their people home. Jin-ho reached the speaking platform and looked up at the 7 high counselors. Their massive bodies towered over him from their raised seats. "Honorable counselors," Jin-ho said, his voice clear and strong. "Today, Earth and all human colonies formally withdraw from the Galactic Concordance." Gasps and angry clicks filled the room. No species had ever left the Concordance in its 4,000-year history. "This is outrageous," shouted Counselor Mrath, his scaled skin turning bright red. "You cannot simply walk away from your duties." Jin-ho remained calm. According to Section 87 of the Charter, any member race may withdraw with a 1-year notice. We delivered that notice exactly 1 year ago today. The chief counselor, an ancient Tellurian named Seth, raised a long, thin hand for silence. "Ambassador Kim, this is most unusual. Perhaps we can discuss what terms would make humanity reconsider." Jin-ho shook his head. "With respect, Chief Counselor, we have tried to discuss terms for decades. Every request for equal representation has been denied. Every trade agreement has favored your worlds over ours." He tapped a button on his wrist. The giant screens around the chamber lit up with battle footage. Human soldiers fighting on alien worlds. Human ships defending Concordance stations. Human medics treating wounded aliens. For 3 centuries, humans have died for the Concordance. We have fought your wars. We have solved your problems. We have given our best minds and strongest bodies to protect you all from the Void Dwellers. Jin-ho pointed to a chart showing human casualties compared to other races. The human bar was 3 times higher than any other. "And what have we received in return? You treat us like useful animals. You praise our warrior spirit and our creative thinking, but deny us a seat among the High Council. You take our resources at low prices and sell us your technology at high ones." Admiral Hannah stepped forward. "The human withdrawal will be complete within 6 months. All our personnel will return to Earth space. All joint defense agreements will end." Counselor Gesh, an amphibious Nylori, leaned forward. "Without our technology, you will be defenseless. The Void Dwellers will." "We'll take our chances," Jin-ho interrupted. "Humanity entered the stars alone. If necessary, we will face the darkness alone." Chief Counselor Seth's eyes narrowed. "You are making a terrible mistake, Ambassador. No race can stand alone in this galaxy." Jin-ho bowed slightly. "Perhaps, but we would rather die free than live as your tools." He removed the Concordance pin from his suit and placed it on the platform. The small golden star made a tiny sound as it hit the surface. Admiral Hannah looked at the alien she had once called allies. "Peace was your invention, a way to keep us controlled while you used our strength. That peace is over." She turned to Jin-ho. "The ships are ready, Ambassador." Together, they walked out of the hall. No one tried to stop them. Behind them, the Concordance Council erupted into chaos. In orbit above the Concordance capital world, 500 human ships activated their engines. The blue light of their drives illuminated the night side of the planet as they turned away from the center of galactic power. Humanity had just walked away, and nothing would ever be the same again. 6 months after Earth's withdrawal, Captain Lee Do-hyun stood on the bridge of the transport ship _homeward_. Through the large viewing window, he watched as the last group of human workers boarded his vessel. Proxima Station hung in space before him, its blue and silver rings spinning slowly. For 50 years, this station had been the strongest human military outpost in the Concordance. Now it was nearly empty. "Captain, final group is aboard," said his first officer. "That's the last of our people from this sector." Do-hyun nodded. "Good. Prepare for departure." The ship's comm system buzzed. Do-hyun pressed a button, and the scowling face of Station Commander Gesh appeared on screen. The Nihilary's amphibious features looked even more unpleasant than usual. "Captain Lee," Gesh said, his voice bubbling through his breathing apparatus. "There seems to be a problem with your departure clearance." Do-hyun kept his face calm, though his jaw tightened. "What problem, Commander? Our paperwork was filed 3 weeks ago." "Yes, but we need to inspect your cargo again. Concordance rules. It might take, several days." This was the 4th delay this week. The Concordance leaders still thought humans were bluffing. They believed no species could survive without the Alliance's protection and technology. "Commander Gesh," Do-hyun said firmly, "according to the withdrawal agreement, we have the right to leave with all our personnel and property. Your inspection was completed yesterday." "Rules change, human." A young woman stepped up beside Do-hyun. Her uniform showed she worked in engineering. Song Mei-Ray had joined the evacuation team just 1 month ago, but she had already proven herself clever and brave. "Captain," she said quietly, "they're stalling because the Vrexel trade fleet arrives tomorrow. They want us to keep maintaining their systems until the new engineers arrive." Do-hyun nodded. Humans had always been used for the difficult, dangerous work. He turned back to the screen. "Commander, we will be leaving in 30 minutes. If you attempt to prevent our departure, it will violate Section 12 of the withdrawal agreement." Gesh's gills flared in anger. "You need us, human. The Void Dwellers grow stronger every day. How will your weak planet survive without our superior technology?" Mei-Ray stepped forward, unable to stay quiet. "The technology you've been holding back from us, you mean?" She held up a small device. "I found this while cleaning out the maintenance bay. It's a quantum efficiency booster. You told us this technology was impossible, yet you've had it all along." Gesh's eyes widened in alarm. Do-hyun gave Mei-Ray a sharp look, but he couldn't hide his surprise. If the Concordance had been hiding such technology, what else had they kept from humans? "Enough," Do-hyun said. "We are leaving now, Commander. _homeward_out." He cut the communication. Do-hyun turned to his crew. "Start engines. If they try to lock the docking clamps, use the emergency release." As the _homeward_ pulled away from the station, Mei-Ray stood at a side window, watching the only home she'd known for the past 5 years grow smaller. "Do you think they'll really let us go?" she asked. "They have no choice," Do-hyun replied. "They need us more than they'll admit, but they're too proud to say it." The ship's engines hummed as they accelerated away from the station. 3 other human vessels joined them, forming a small convoy heading toward Earth. Back on their home planet, scientist Choi Ta-won worked day and night in his laboratory. On his screens, he monitored the returning ships. Each one brought more humans with knowledge of alien technology. Each one brought more pieces to his puzzle. "Progress report," demanded a voice behind him. Tai-won turned to see Admiral Park Hannah. She looked tired but determined. "We're making breakthroughs every day," he said, pointing to a glowing prototype on his workbench. "Within 1 year, we won't need any of their technology. We'll have created our own." Hannah nodded. "Good, because soon we'll close our borders completely, and the real work will begin." Outside, more ships appeared in the sky, bringing Earth's children home. 1 year after the last human ship returned home, Earth and its colonies went completely silent. No messages were sent out. No ships traveled beyond the new defense line. Humanity had pulled a curtain around itself. From his office in Seoul, Admiral Park, Hannah watched the latest test of the SHIELD network. On her large screen, she could see hundreds of small satellites forming a web around Earth's solar system. Each one carried weapons and sensors far more advanced than what humans had used in the Concordance. "The North Quadrant is now active," reported her assistant. The entire network will be complete in 3 days. Hana nodded with satisfaction. And the response time? 8 seconds to detect and respond to any unauthorized entry. This defense system was just one of many projects completed since humans returned home. Without concordance restrictions, human creativity had exploded. Across the city, in a massive laboratory, Choi Ta-won and his research partner Kang Eun-ji watched as their new engine prototype hummed to life. The small device glowed with soft blue light, floating above its testing platform without any visible support. Power output is stable at 300% of our target, Eun-ji said, her eyes wide with excitement. It's working, Ta-won. He smiled as he checked the readings. The quantum efficiency booster that My-Ray found was the key. Once we understood how it worked, we could improve it. This engine would allow human ships to travel faster than anything in the Concordance fleet, but they had created much more than just engines. Have you seen the new medical nanites? Eun-ji asked as they walked to their next meeting. Dr. Kim says they can repair cellular damage that even Tellurian healers couldn't fix. Ta-won nodded. And the farm yields with our new growth methods are 5 times higher than before. We always had the ideas. We just needed the freedom to develop them. Meanwhile, at the former Concordance headquarters, the Alien Council was in session again. The massive chamber that once hosted representatives from 1,000 worlds now seemed empty with so many human seats vacant. The human blockade continues, reported a Vrexel diplomat, his insect mandibles clicking nervously. Our ships cannot approach any of their systems without being turned away by automated defenses. Chief Counselor Seth tapped his long fingers on the table. And their communications. Total silence for 12 months. They've rejected all diplomatic messages. Commander Gesh slammed his webbed hand down. This is outrageous. Their economy must be collapsing by now. Without our trade network, they cannot survive. But at that moment, a junior aide rushed into the chamber and handed a data tablet to Seth. The ancient Tellurian's face showed rare surprise as he read it. It seems, he said slowly, that 3 of our outer mining colonies have just signed independent trade agreements with humans. The room erupted in shock. Impossible, shouted Gesh. How could they reach those colonies without us detecting their ships? Unknown, Seth replied. But these reports show human vessels appearing without warning, offering better terms than we give, and departing with full cargo holds. In another part of the chamber, Trade Minister Vrel reviewed the latest economic projections. Without human ingenuity solving key problems, production had dropped by 17% across the Concordance. Military readiness was down 23%. The Great Alliance that had stood for 4,000 years was showing cracks. Back on Earth, in a high-security training facility, Captain Lee Do-hyun walked among new recruits. The young men and women stood straight in their uniforms, eager to serve. The Concordance taught us to fight like them, Do-hyun told the soldiers. But now we will fight like humans. We will use our strengths, not copy theirs. In her office, Admiral Hannah received the first reports from their secret trading missions. The outer colonies were eager for human goods and technology. Many were questioning why they needed the Concordance at all. How long before they send warships to force us back? Asked her deputy. Hannah looked at the defense grid display. They might try, but they'll find we're not the same humans who left. Beyond the edges of known space, something dark was moving. The Void Dwellers had noticed the change in the galaxy's balance, and they were coming. 3 years after humans left the Concordance, disaster struck. The Void Dwellers, mysterious enemies from the edge of the galaxy, launched a massive attack. On the Concordance border world of Neverus II, thousands of civilians ran for shelter as dark ships filled the sky. The planet's defenses, once among the strongest in the sector, fell quickly. Without human military officers, the alien defenders fought poorly against the strange enemy. High Commander Gesh watched the battle reports from his command ship. His amphibious face showed rare fear as one system after another went dark on his map. How many ships do we have left in that sector? he asked his officers. 3 battle cruisers and 7 support vessels, replied his second-in-command. Not enough to stop them. Hish knew what this meant. Without help, Neveris II would fall, and with it thousands of civilians would die or be captured. The Void Dwellers never left survivors. There are still 20,000 people on the surface, his officer said quietly. Mostly families. The evacuation ships can't reach them through the Void Dweller blockade. Gesh stared at the map for a long moment. Then he made a decision that no Concordance leader had ever expected to make. Send a message to Earth, he ordered. Ask for their help. Inside Earth's defensive perimeter, Admiral Park Hannah received the emergency message. She read it twice before calling an emergency meeting of the Human Confederation Council. The Concordance is asking for our help, she told the gathered leaders. Neveris II is under attack. 20,000 civilians are trapped. Why should we care? Asked one counselor. The Concordance never helped us when we needed it. Ambassador Kim Jin-ho, who had led Earth's withdrawal 3 years earlier, stood up. These are not Concordance leaders we're talking about. These are innocent families, children. If we help, what do we gain? Another counselor asked. Captain Lee Do-hyun, now commander of Earth's new advanced fleet, spoke up. A chance to test our new ships and weapons against the Void Dwellers, and information about our real enemy. The council debated for hours. Finally, Admiral Hannah called for a vote. We are not the Concordance, she said. We do not abandon those in need, even if they once abandoned us. The vote was close, but the decision was made. Help would be sent. 2 days later, Captain Lee Do-hyun stood on the bridge of the Defiance, Earth's most advanced warship. Behind him, 5 other human vessels prepared to jump to Neveris II. Engineer Song Mi-rae, now operations chief of the Defiance, checked the final systems. The new stealth drives are ready, Captain. The Void Dwellers won't know we're coming until we're right on top of them. Good, Do-hyun said. And the new weapons, loaded and ready. Nothing like them exists in Concordance or Void Dweller fleets. Scientist Kang Eun-ji joined them on the bridge. For this mission, she would observe the Void Dwellers up close for the first time. Remember, she told the crew, our primary mission is to evacuate the civilians, but any data we can gather on the enemy will be extremely valuable. Do-hyun nodded and addressed his crew. 3 years ago, we walked away from a galaxy that used us but never respected us. Today, we return on our terms, with our technology and our way of fighting. He took his command seat, not because we need the Concordance, but because we choose to help those in danger. That's what humans do. The 6 ships activated their drives, disappearing instantly from Earth's space. No flash of light, no energy trail. One moment they were there, the next they were gone. On Neveris II, the Void Dwellers continued their attack, unaware that help was coming. The black ships landed troops on the surface, strange, twisted creatures that moved like flowing shadows. Inside the main civilian shelter, families huddled in fear as the outer doors began to melt under enemy weapons. Children cried. Parents held them close. Then the ceiling shook as something massive passed overhead. Humans had arrived. The human ships appeared above Neveris II without warning. 6 black vessels, their hulls absorbing light rather than reflecting it. The Void Dweller ships did not detect them until the first shots were fired. Captain Lee Do-hyun stood calm on the bridge of the Defiance as his ship's new weapons cut through 2 enemy vessels in seconds. Direct hit, reported his weapons officer. Enemy shields failed completely. Target their landing ships next, Do-hyun ordered. We need to stop more troops from reaching the surface. Around them, the other 5 human ships moved with perfect coordination. Their tactics were unlike anything seen in Concordance battles before. They did not form neat lines or follow standard attack patterns. Each ship moved independently, striking from unexpected angles. Engineer Song Mi-rae monitored the battle from her station. Captain, I'm detecting strange energy patterns from the Void Dweller ships. It looks like some kind of psychic attack aimed at our crew. Activate the mind shields, Do-hyun ordered. Mi-rae pressed a series of buttons. A soft hum filled the ship as the new protection system came online. During their years of isolation, humans had developed defenses against the Void Dweller's most feared weapon: their ability to attack enemy minds directly. On the Concordance command ship watching from a safe distance, High Commander Gesh could not believe what he was seeing. Impossible, he whispered as the human vessels tore through the Void Dweller fleet. Their technology is beyond anything we possess. His second-in-command zoomed in on the _Defiance_. Sir, that ship design. We've never seen anything like it. How did they advance so quickly? Gesh had no answer. The humans he had once looked down on were now fighting with power that made the Concordance fleet look primitive. On the surface of Neveris II, 3 human shuttles landed near the main civilian shelter. Troops in advanced armor rushed out, led by Lieutenant Han Ji-won. They moved quickly to the sealed doors where Void Dweller forces were breaking through. "Stand back," Jae-won shouted to the aliens inside. When they moved away, her team placed small devices on the damaged door. "Molecular repair activated," said one soldier. The door's melted metal began to reform and strengthen. Inside the shelter, the alien families watched in awe. Many had never seen humans up close before. Now these humans were risking their lives to save them. Back on the _Defiance_, scientist Kang Eun-ji studied the Void Dweller ships with growing concern. "Captain, I'm seeing something strange. The enemy seems to be specifically targeting ships with human life signs. They're ignoring Concordance vessels when we're present. Why would they focus on us?" asked Mi-rae. "I don't know," Eun-ji replied, "but I need to find out." Do-hyun considered this information. "We need to capture one of their ships intact. Can we disable the next one instead of destroying it?" "We can try," said his weapons officer. The battle continued for 3 more hours. When it ended, 17 Void Dweller ships had been destroyed, and 1 had been captured. The human fleet had suffered damage but no losses. As evacuation ships arrived to take the civilians to safety, Eun-ji boarded the captured enemy vessel with the science team. What she found made her blood run cold. Inside the twisted black ship, the walls seemed to pulse like living tissue. The few dead Void Dwellers they found were not completely alien as everyone had believed. Under their dark armor, parts of their bodies looked almost human. In the ship's core, Eun-ji discovered something even more disturbing: tanks filled with a thick liquid containing what appeared to be human genetic material. "Captain," she called Do-hyun on her communicator, her voice shaking. "I don't think the Void Dwellers are hunting humans. I think they're collecting us." On the bridge, Do-hyun received a message from the Concordance command ship. High Commander Gesh wanted to meet in person to thank humans for their help. "Tell him we'll meet," Do-hyun told his communications officer. "But first, I want to know what the Concordance knows about these Void Dwellers, because I'm starting to think they've been hiding the truth from us all along." Back on Earth, Kang, Eun-ji, and Choi Ta-won worked day and night in their laboratory. The samples from the captured Void Dweller ship filled the room with an eerie blue glow. 3 weeks had passed since the battle at Neveris II, and what they discovered shocked them to their core. "Run the test again," Ta-won said, his voice tight with tension. "We need to be absolutely sure." Eun-ji nodded and placed another sample in the analyzer. The machine hummed softly as it compared the Void Dweller genetic material with human DNA. "Match confirmed," the computer announced. 89.7% genetic similarity to human baseline. Ta-won sat down heavily in his chair. "It's true then. The Void Dwellers are human, or at least they were once." Eun-ji pulled up more data on her screen. "According to our historical records, an early human exploration group went missing near the galaxy's edge about 500 years ago. The Concordance said they were destroyed by a cosmic storm. They lied," Taiwan said flatly. These void dwellers are our lost cousins, somehow changed by something out there in the darkness. In another part of the research center, Admiral Park Hana and Ambassador Kim Jin-ho met with High Commander Gish. The Nylori commander had traveled to Earth under a special diplomatic pass. "We are grateful for your help at Neveris II," Gish said, his amphibious features moving stiffly. "The Concordance recognizes the advanced nature of your technology." "Save the diplomatic talk," Hannah said sharply. "We want answers about the Void Dwellers." Before Gish could respond, Yunji and Taiwan entered the room. They placed a data pad on the table in front of Gish. "The Void Dwellers are human, aren't they?" Yunji asked directly. "Changed, twisted, but originally human. And you've known this all along." Gesh's skin paled to a lighter blue. His gills fluttered nervously. "How did you?" "We have the genetic proof," Taiwan cut in. "What we don't know is why you kept this secret from us. Why you've been using humans to fight our own kind for centuries." The room fell silent. Gesh looked from face to face, then seemed to deflate. "Yes," he admitted finally. "The Tellurian Science Council discovered the connection 200 years ago. The humans who disappeared, they encountered something at the galaxy's edge. An energy field or entity. We don't fully understand it. It changed them." Jin-ho leaned forward. "And you said nothing to us. You let us fight them without knowing who they really were." The Tellurians decided it would be problematic. If humans knew they were fighting altered versions of themselves, you might have refused to help us fight them. "Of course we would have tried to help them." Hannah slammed her hand on the table. "They're our people, transformed by something they encountered. We could have looked for a cure, a way to reverse what happened to them." Gesh shook his head. "It's too late for that. They're too far gone. The transformation is complete. They aren't human anymore. Not really." Yunji brought up another image on the screen. It showed the inside of a Void Dweller ship with tanks of human genetic material. "They're collecting human DNA," she explained. "We think they're trying to stabilize themselves. The transformation is breaking down their cellular structure over time." Taiwan added, "They need pure human genetic material to survive. That's why they've been targeting human ships and colonies more aggressively than Concordance ones." The implications hit everyone in the room at once. The Void Dwellers weren't just random enemies. They were desperate survivors, fighting for their existence, the only way they knew how. "The Concordance has been using us as weapons against our own distant relatives," Jin-ho said quietly. Gesh looked away. "We did what was necessary for survival." Hana stood up slowly, her face hard with anger. "Get out. Return to your ships and tell the Concordance Council what has happened here today. Tell them that humans now know the truth." As Gesh left, Ta-1 turned to the others. "There's something else. I think we might be able to develop a treatment, a way to reverse some of the transformation. But we'd need a living Void Dweller to test it." "You want to capture one alive?" Hannah asked. Yunji nodded. "It's the only way to know if we can save them." Jin-ho looked thoughtful. "So now we have to choose, continue fighting our lost cousins, or try to save them, even after all they've done." "They're still human, somewhere deep inside," Taiwan said. "Don't we owe them a chance?" 6 years had passed since humans left the Concordance. In that time, they had built a powerful independent nation called the Human Confederation. Their technology now matched or exceeded that of their former allies. Their ships patrolled their borders with confidence. Today, Admiral Park Hana and Ambassador Kim Jin-ho stood in the Great Hall of the Concordance Council once more. But this time, they did not come as members seeking permission. They came as representatives of an equal power. The chamber fell silent as they walked to the center. Many counselors had never seen a human in person before. "Honored Council," Jin-ho began, "we come with a proposal from Earth." Chief Counselor Seth leaned forward on his high seat. The ancient Tellurian looked even older now, the stress of recent years visible on his face. Speak, Ambassador. The Concordance will hear your words. Jin-Ho nodded to Hana, who activated a holographic display. It showed a map of the galaxy with red areas marking Void Dweller territory. In the past 2 years, the Void Dwellers have taken 17 of your worlds, Hana said. Your fleets cannot stop them. Your people live in fear. Several counselors shifted uncomfortably. The truth was painful to hear. We propose a new alliance, Jin-Ho continued. Not as members of the Concordance, but as equal partners against a common enemy. Counselor Vrex, the insect-like leader of the Vrexel, clicked his mandibles in anger. You abandoned us. Now you think you can dictate terms. We left because we had no choice, Hana replied calmly. And we're not dictating terms, we're offering help. She changed the display to show human ships and weapon systems. Our fleet stands ready. Our soldiers are prepared, but we will not fight as your servants again. Jin-Ho listed their conditions: full technological exchange, recognition of human independence, complete access to all information about the Void Dwellers, and joint command of all military operations. The council erupted in argument. Some members shouted that humans were too primitive to be equals. Others urged acceptance before more worlds fell to the enemy. As the debate raged, Captain Lee Do-hyun and Engineer Song Mi-rae prepared for a very different mission. On the bridge of the _Defiance_, now upgraded with even more advanced systems, Do-hyun studied the star map. The target is here, he told his crew, pointing to a small system near Void Dweller space. Intelligence reports a research vessel operating alone. Our mission is to capture it intact with at least one living Void Dweller aboard. Mi-rae looked worried. The ship's organic components make it hard to disable without destroying it. And the Void Dwellers fight to the death rather than be captured. That's why we have this, Do-hyun said, holding up a small device. Dr. Choi's new stasis field should freeze everything inside without killing it. In her laboratory on Earth, Kang Eun-jae prepared treatment modules for the captured Void Dweller. Her work over the past months had shown promising results with tissue samples. Do you really think we can reverse the transformation? Asked her assistant. Partially, at least, Eun-jae replied. Enough to communicate with them, maybe. Enough to understand what happened and what they want. Back in the council chamber, the debate had grown heated. Counselor Vrex refused to consider humans as equals. These primitives walked away once. They will do it again when it suits them, he hissed. Jin-Ho stepped forward. We left because you gave us no choice. You used us while denying us respect. Now you need us. Need you? Vrex scoffed. The mighty Concordance needs humans. Yes, Hana said simply. You do. She displayed new images, Void Dweller forces gathering for what appeared to be a massive attack. This will hit your core worlds within months. Without our help, the Concordance will fall. Chief Counselor Seth raised his hand for silence. The old Tellurian looked at the humans with new eyes, not as useful tools, but as a power that could no longer be ignored. We will consider your proposition, Admiral, he said carefully. But tell me this, why help us at all? You could let us fall and take our place. Hannah's answer was calm but firm. Because humans don't abandon innocent people, even when they've been wronged. That's what makes us different from you. The massive Void Dweller fleet appeared without warning. Over 300 black ships dropped out of hyperspace near the Concordance capital world. Their twisted shapes blocked the stars like a cloud of darkness. Inside the Grand Council chamber, alien representatives ran in panic. Only a small defensive fleet protected their most important planet. We cannot hold against so many, shouted Commander Gesh. Chief Counselor Seth looked to the human delegation. Where is your fleet, Admiral? You promised help. Hannah's face remained calm. Our ships are in position. We were simply waiting for your final answer to our proposition. The old Tellurian's eyes narrowed. You use our danger to force our hand. No, Jin-Ho said. We give you a choice, which is more than you ever gave us. Outside, the Void Dweller ships began their attack pattern. Their weapons powered up, glowing with sickly green energy. Seth looked at the tactical display, then to his fellow counselors. Even proud Counselor Vrex was silent now. "Very well," Seth said finally. "We accept your terms. Now please, help us." Hana nodded and pressed her communicator. "All ships, engage." In the space around the capital planet, 50 human vessels suddenly appeared. They had been there all along, hidden by their advanced stealth technology. The _Defiance_ led the formation, now twice its original size, and bristling with weapons. Captain Lee Do-hyun gave the order. "All ships, attack pattern Omega. Protect the civilian centers at all costs." The battle that followed was unlike any the galaxy had seen before. Human ships moved with incredible speed and coordination. Their weapons cut through Void Dweller shields as if they weren't there. On the Defiance, Engineer Mayray monitored their new defensive systems. "Captain, the enemy is changing tactics. They're trying to reach the surface. They're after something specific," Do-hyun realized. "Not just an attack. They're searching for something." At that moment, scientists Choi Ta-won and Kang Yunji rushed onto the bridge with urgent news from their research. "Captain, we've translated some of the Void Dweller communications from our captured ship," Yunji said breathlessly. "They're searching for an artifact, something the Tellurians found ages ago. It's what caused the transformation of those lost humans." "Where is this artifact?" Do-hyun asked. "According to their records, it's hidden somewhere on the capital planet," Ta-won replied. "The Tellurians have been studying it in secret for thousands of years." Do-hyun immediately contacted Admiral Hana. "Admiral, the Void Dwellers are after a Tellurian artifact. It could accelerate their transformation process." On the surface, Hana confronted Chief Counselor Seth with this information. The old Tellurian finally confessed. "Yes," he admitted, "we found it long ago, a crystal from beyond our galaxy. It changes living things, makes them different. The humans who found it became the first Void Dwellers." "And you kept it?" Jinho asked in disbelief, knowing how dangerous it was. "Its power was too valuable to destroy," Seth said defensively. Above them, the battle reached its peak. Human ships formed a protective wall around the planet. The Void Dwellers fought with desperate fury, but they could not break through. Finally, their leader's ship was disabled by a direct hit from the _Defiance_. Do-hyun led a boarding team, while Yunji prepared the treatment they had developed. Inside the twisted vessel, they found the Void Dweller commander, a figure half human, half something else. Its skin was black, and its eyes glowed green, but the shape of its face was undeniably human. "Help us," it gasped in a raspy voice. "The pain never stops." Yunji administered the treatment. Slowly, the creature's features became more human. It could speak clearly now. "We only wanted to be whole again," it said. "The transformation is killing us. We need the crystal to stabilize ourselves." When the battle ended, Admiral Hana stood before the gathered Concordance Council. Behind her, human ships controlled the space above the capital. "Peace was your invention," she told the alien representatives. "A way to control us while exploiting our strengths. That peace is over." She gestured to the stars beyond the chamber windows. "We walked away because we had to, but we've returned on our terms. Now the galaxy has 3 choices. Join us as equals, stand aside, or be regarded as our enemy." The Terran Accords were signed that day, establishing humanity as the galaxy's newest independent power. Several concordance races broke away to ally with Earth, and as the new alliance prepared for the greater challenge of helping the Void Dwellers, humanity took its rightful place among the stars, not as servants, but as leaders.